We up and I'm feeling like a new me. Stacking new sets, some new E. NFTs, all of them you need. Back in my zone like 2-3. All time high, hit a new peak. Let's go. Homie, the Bulls is back. I said the Bulls is back.
GM, welcome back to the channel. It looks like the markets are mocking today. We've actually got Bitcoin here at 65.5, which was, if you've watched Crown's analysis this morning, a region where he was saying, look, if we pump all the way up to here, probably a good place for a bit of a pullback from that kind of region. So kind of watching this, thinking it's going to pull back a little bit here, but hopefully we just absolutely smash on through. But generally across the board, green markets, yet again, we had a very green weekend as well. So hopefully that is something that sticks here and a bit of a trend, because typically in a bull market, when you have these green weekends, that means there's a lot more retail interest. That is what it's signifying to me. So this weekend, we saw definitely quite a bit of that. Memes moving like crazy again. There was a few little pullbacks this morning, but nothing to be concerned about. Obviously, things have moved up a lot, and it really does feel like player versus environment, not player versus player at this point in time. So 65.4, we're going to just rush through some charts here and just take a look at what's happening in the landscape here. So Don Alt posted this, a weekly chart of BTC there, with a nice big question mark, pretty much saying what's going to happen next. Well, Bitcoin is above the kind of green zone where he was saying this is where the decision comes from. It's poked its head above. So I do think that we're going to go higher, and it would seem that that is pretty much, off the back of this, there's additional stimulus coming to the market, more money printing. China may issue 6 trillion yuan in treasury bonds. Bonds are how governments fund their economies. So 6 trillion yuan, that is the equivalent of around 450 billion US, I believe, which is obviously a crazy amount of money. And this comes off the back of other stimulative effects, rate cuts, etc. So I think Bitcoin is somewhat reacting to this kind of news as well. We've also got the stock market up again. SPX is absolutely flying. The NASDAQ playing catch up here. All-time high is around 20,700 points, say, so not too far away from that. Meanwhile, DXY, the dollar, is also continuing to move up, but nice to see risk assets having a pump whilst that is occurring. Let's just go through some charts here. Pretty interesting. You've got Sol versus the dollar, 154. I think above this region, we're going to start to fly. So 160s is next on the agenda. Sol ETH, that is the position of it right now. It's kind of like on the precipice of a full-on breakout, but it is seemingly, it looks like it wants to go, in my humble opinion. We've then got the likes of WIF here. Interesting one to look at, WIF, because this is known as the Sol beta play. And if you're looking for leveraged exposure to Sol without actually using perps, a lot of people do trade this instead. And that has cemented itself as quite relevant within the cycle. And the hat stays on, it would seem, as we are approaching the kind of second resistance here, now pushing up to around $2.89 as we speak. But this is the USD chart. And then this one down here is WIF Sol. So WIF priced in the Solana token. You can see it's broken through these key levels, had a bit of a retest of this area, and this up here is now the all-time high region for WIF priced in Sol, which is around 24%, say, away from that high. So if this goes up here in, say, the next month or so, and we get a breakout from this into price discovery, then you could make an argument for the crazy price targets you're seeing banded around online right about now. This was Murad's take earlier. This crypto cycle is not a charting game, a rotation game, or a math game. It's a people game. The secret to outperform is to find wholesome, strong-minded, and pure-hearted communities, bet on them, and join them. Do you agree with that, yes or no? That's pretty much the thesis around cults, and we're seeing, obviously, cult-like mentality around meme coins is a lot easier to observe within the markets. Retardio here as well, posted a brand new all-time high over the weekend. Bit of chop here. I'm expecting this one continues a lot higher as well. And over onto Dex Screener, we have the Fantom and Fantom ecosystem strong today. So Fantom's up to around 72, 73 cents today. And yeah, this one has been very strong today in particular. I've seen a lot of people start to tweet about this as well with the Sonic upgrade coming. I think this is a key narrative for the end of Q4. Tarot here at 29 cents. Again, it looks pretty damn good to me. And then Familiar, one of the low cap memes, pushed up nicely since we talked about this one at the end of last week. People are also shouting this one, goggles on Fantom. Also, outside of all of this, what else are we kind of seeing maybe the early innings of? GameFi season potentially. So this is Star Atlas here, which we've had a few shouts from the boys on this one. It's up roughly 2x from the lowest. Bit of a pullback here at 0.003 of a cent. This thing was like 20-40 cents at the peak of last bull market. And there's been a lot of game development since. But this is off the back, potentially a trade idea because, we'll just play this little clip here. So this is Shroud, one of the famous Twitch streamers, talking about Off the Grid. So Off the Grid is the breakout Web3 game right now. It's on Xbox, PS5. It's in early access, and you get all the streamers at this moment in time helping promote it.
Let me just mute. If their performance was like top notch and just like insanely good, I think this game would literally take the fuck over.
So we've got the potential breakout game here. And I think if this continues in the vein that it has been over this weekend, seen a load of tweets around this. People are excited for play off the grids. This will obviously spill over into other tokens. So maybe wise to have some stuff on the radar at this point. Superverse doing really well as well. I think that's pretty much a like all-time highs apart from its initial wick high when it first got going. But if you have a banger game come out, a load of these things are going to reprice, because I've seen that Off the Grid has raised like over $100 million. Gunzilla, the token isn't out yet, likely comes out and it'll be like $1 billion or something. Star Atlas is trading at $50 million. So there could be some good trades within the market. Now, don't want to digress too much on gaming because I think that's quite early stage and a lot of things are consistently cooking here in meme land, but definitely something to have on the back burner in my humble opinion. And of course, the gas token of the network, AVAX, so being built on AVAX, likely gets a big pump from this as well. But in terms of cult-based followings, the Balkan Dwarf continues to do really well and has an absolutely awesome chart here. Now it's over 0.0005, now over a $20 million token. And what they did was they already had like a wormhole bridge with liquidity to Sol. I think they increased that, and now it's on the Moonshot app as well. So billions must listen. Check out the video for this one. We'll round things up here because it is still meme season out there. But this video honestly cracks me up. Have a good one. See you next one.